When the ambulance got to the scene, he was already pronounced dead. They couldn't even take him to the hospital to do anything for him. They just left him, then they just hit him and left.
The family of a popular podcaster killed in a hit-and-run accident over the weekend, struggling to deal with their shock and their grief.
Hal Eisner spoke to them about the shocking death of Matt George and the search for the driver who hit him. Hal's there in Santa Monica. Hal?
Yeah. Matt George's mom, dad, and sisters live in Liberty, Missouri. That's a long way from Santa Monica, where they were just over a week ago visiting with Matt in what turned out to be their very last visit.
We are devastated. We are devastated that we have lost our son, who was just an amazing young man.
26-year-old Matt George was killed this past weekend while crossing Beverly Boulevard.
He was crossing the street and somebody hit him in a white BMW and kept going. They didn't even stop. And when the ambulance got to the scene, he was already pronounced dead. They couldn't even take him to the hospital to do anything for him.
His family says Matt was just a few feet in front of a friend on that Beverly Boulevard sidewalk Saturday morning at 2:20 a.m. when he was struck and killed.
Matt's friend had to watch Matthew get killed in front of his eyes. So
in front of his friend.
Painful as it was for his family to sit down just a few days after Matt's death and talk about this, it was also a chance to describe the guy they said came to L.A. to find his place in the entertainment industry. He struck gold with a podcast, and his mom says she would listen every Tuesday morning as a new podcast dropped. He talked to their visit in a recent episode.
And my mother and sister are coming in town this weekend.
Mary Ann says she was proud of his podcast and him.
This is exactly what he was. This is what Matthew was. He's holding a butterfly. That was Matthew.
It was just days ago, Sunday, July 11th. Mary Ann, Meredith, and Matthew were at the beach here in Santa Monica. The women came out to celebrate Meredith's 20th birthday with Matt. It would be their last visit.
Meredith, is there something you'll take away from that trip that you'll remember forever and always?
just getting to spend time with him every day.
Every day in L.A., a different restaurant, a different slice of L.A. life. These are some of their last photos. As they sit down, they think of the funny son they knew, the kind brother, and the person who ended his life.
What do you want to say to this driver if they're watching right now?
I want to say you took, and I'm sure it was an accident, because no one would do that intentionally, but you took an amazing young man. But I don't think you're going to be able to live with yourself.
We certainly don't think that there was any malicious intent. I think this was negligence. But there is some accountability for negligence as well.
Matt could never live with himself had he done something like this to someone else. I don't think either of us could.
And I'd like you to turn yourself in, though, because there's obviously an issue, and we don't want to see any other family go through this.
Police are still looking for the driver of that vehicle. The vehicle described as a white BMW, 2015 to 2020, a Series 5 or 6. If you have any information at all that can help in the investigation, call the LAPD. Alex, Christine, back to you.